Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
the weaker vessel. So we have all kinds of weird things happening in our life that we were discussing about.
Right, pretty much.
Now we can talk about spiritual things.
Talk about spiritual things.
I just want to say that when I found out that I had pink eye after coming off of viral stuff, I haven't been to church in a month because it just has been one thing after another with illness in my house. I've been in more emergency rooms than churches. Hey guys, your lunch is ready. It's right there. You can call the girls down. So this is just where we're at in life, and it's fine. It's pretty funny. When I came home from presbyterian to a tree sticking out of my roof, it did kind of make me just laugh because we had just had firewood delivered the same day. We have it, it's already chopped up and seasoned and ready to go, and you just have to stack it up. So that's sitting in my driveway to be stacked up, but there's also a tree there that needs to get chopped up as well. So it's
you
just
can't
kind of
say
funny.
God doesn't have a sense of humor. I'm just saying.
It's funny. It's really funny.
I mean, now you have more than enough wood. So, I mean, if it's a really, really cold winter, you have to be like, hey, save that log for tomorrow because we're
the log for tomorrow.
We're poor. We may not have heat.
What Charles Dickens novel do you think I live in?
You live up in Maine. I don't know. I mean, the South is just all warm and fuzzy. Oh, goodness. Oh, anyways.
Anyway, what scripture verse were you reading to me earlier that you wanted to talk about? Let's talk about it.
Okay, yeah. So the verse that I was wanting to talk about was right here. It's 1 Timothy chapter 5. And it's, let me look here. Verse, I think it starts at 13. Besides that, they learn to be idlers, going from house to house, and not only idlers, but also gossips and busybodies, saying what they should not.
What is the context? What is the context of it?
Well, I mean, it's basically talking about it's under instructions for the church, but it was talking about,
widows?
Yes, widows, women who, it kind of contrasts the two of women who are doing the right thing, right? They're busy in their homes, they're, married to one man.
I think it's qualifications for widows who get to have, who would qualify for help from the church should they need it.
Yes.
And basically their qualifications are a list of good works, like you said, in their home, taking care, isn't one of them taking care of the poor? Or am I mixed up?
I believe so. I was looking for the exact verse here so that I wouldn't misquote, but yes, but essentially,
taking care of the needy or the poor.
They show godliness of their, here, I'll just read it. It says, starting in verse 3, honor widows who are truly widows, but if a widow has children or grandchildren, let them first learn to show godliness in their own household and to make some return to their parents, for this is pleasing in the sight of God. She who is truly a widow, left all alone, has set her hope on God and continues in supplications and prayers night and day. And she who is self-indulgent is dead even while she lives. Command these things as well, so that they may be without reproach. But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for the members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than unbeliever. Let a widow be enrolled if she is not less than 60 years of age, having been the wife of one husband and having a reputation for good works. If she has brought up children, has shown hospitality, has washed the feet of the saints, has cared for the afflicted, and has devoted herself to every good work, but refused to enroll younger widows, for when their passions draw them away from Christ, they desire to marry, and so incur condemnation for having abandoned their former faith. Besides that, they learn to be idlers, going about from house to house, and not only idlers, but also gossips and busybodies, saying what they should not. So I would have younger widows marry, bear children, manage their households, and give the the adversary no occasion for slander, for some have already strayed after Satan. If any believing woman has relatives who are widows, let her care for them. Let the church not be burdened, so that it may care for those who are truly widows.
Mm.
It's a lot there.
It's a lot there. And yet, I feel like if you think that you aren't a widow, you probably would just like read through that pretty quickly and maybe not really process through like what's really being said.
There's like a lot. I mean, just for women in general, I feel like.
Well, it's interesting, the thing, because it's like the thing that does qualify you to actually receive help from the church, which is your family, is the fact that you treated it like a family all along. You were the ones who were also pitching in, helping individuals when they needed it. And so now that you're the one who needs help, it's just right and good that the church should help you. But first make sure that your own family, if they are able, are taking care of you. See to it that their families take care of the widows if they can. Because it's like there is this sphere of family. Family ought to take care of family.
Yep.
So that the church can also take care of people who don't have any other family. We were just talking a little bit earlier about how there's always, I shouldn't say always, but there seems to always be, if you're in ministry like myself, there can be, even as Army wife, like I know you were just explaining this to me too. I'm sure it's just like women in general. I'm sure this is not unique to ministry or Army wife life.
I don't know. I think it's only us.
I think it's pretty universal that people are sinful.
No, I think so. Yeah, no, I think so.
And I don't think sometimes necessarily that people are trying to be sinful. Sometimes you are just being sinful and you need someone to tell you, hey, this is sin.
Sometimes you just come by it naturally.
Yeah, almost like we inherited it.
Right.
But like we were just talking about how there's the woman who, I don't know if you would call it like codependency or something, but it's like she just needs your attention all of the time. She needs your help with every little decision that she makes, or she's always wanting to run to you to complain about her husband or her kids or her mother-in-law. And it's just like she consumes way more of your time than she really should. And like you can feel it in your soul, but you're not exactly sure how to say, listen, woman, you need to chill out. Just go obey God in your, in your little dominion that he's given to you. Like go take it, go take the dominion, go actually steward the things that God has given you well. And we see that that's like what the widow is commended for. The widow is commended for washing the feet of the saints and for being hospitable and for feeding people. And like she is
doing
busy.
All the things.
She was busy her whole life. And so now that she can't do those things, it's just natural the church would go ahead and help her. And that actually in the broader context of the pastoral epistles, which are 1st, 2nd, Timothy, and Titus, makes a whole lot of sense because in Titus, it actually talks about the older women training up the younger women. And part of the older women training up the younger women is the younger woman probably someday helping the older woman. We see that even in parenting, right? Like your parents changed your diapers and then someday you'll have to change your parents' diapers probably. And it's like, we laugh at that kind of stuff when we joke, but like that is the reality.
Yep, it is. It is the reality. And I mean, if you think about it too, I mean, you can compare it to Proverbs 31. That woman as well is just taking care of her home and busying herself and doing all the same things.
She has no time to go idle house to house. To be busybodying and knowing everyone's business. And I guess that's half of it is there's the busybody woman who wants to know everyone else's business so she can spread it. And then there's the busybody woman who tattles on herself and goes to everyone else's house to tell them how terrible she is.
Which is like, why would you want to do that?
It's a weird phenomena, but it seems to be pretty pervasive.
No, I know. It does. And can't help but think like you got to be miserable. You know,
Well, they are.
not only are you making everybody miserable, but you have to be miserable yourself.
Right.
I don't understand like what kind of traction you think this is gaining you, unless you're with the women who are also wanting to hear all the busybody, and then I guess you're the one who you're the one at the hairdressers who's, isn't that the old thing, like, all the old women go to the hairdresser and they gossip, then you're the one that has all the hot gossip and stuff.
I think it's also the old adage of misery loves company.
Yeah.
If you're miserable, it's like you generally want other people to feel as miserable as you do for whatever reason. Once again, sin.
It just has to be just utterly exhausting. You see it a lot in the military community, and I think it's because like a lot of the women around me here aren't. They're not Christian.
When you're all done, y'all clean up.
They don't have anything better to do. Their husbands leave, and then they're just sitting. They feel like they're just sitting at home, but they're not busying themselves with their home, or they're not learning new things. They're not like, hey, let me learn how to make bread, or let me learn how to cross stitch, or they're just there.
Or let me learn how to bless someone. Let me learn how to bless someone else. Let me learn.
So then they're bored.
Yeah, let me pay attention to those around me and see if I can't do something. I can't wash their feet. I can't, provide for their needs. You just so badly want everyone to, feel sorry for you rather than actually produce something. The peaceable fruits of righteousness. There is no peaceable fruit of righteousness in their life. Or there's, far and few between. Can you hear my chickens in the background?
I can hear your chickens. You got to tell me how many eggs you get today.
I love getting them.
Well, baby chickens are just adorable.
Listen, don't poop on me, little chicken. Go
my
that way.
mama just got some chickens too, so the kids were naming them a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Alrighty. I always got to make sure that I'm not being attacked in the coop because I'm stealing their eggs. They didn't really attack me, but I don't want to get like jumped on or something and they're all dirty.
Yeah, I'm waiting for like the rooster to get at you.
He's pretty good, actually. I think we got rid of one of our roosters, and I think it kind of signaled to him, "You're dispensable, buddy." But we have this one. It's an Americana, and she will eventually lay blue eggs. But she is in a naughty teenager phase, and she likes to fly the coop.
You're going to have to clip her wings.
I know, we have twice, and they keep growing back. I'm telling you, this chicken is impressive. Anyway, peaceable fruits of righteousness.
You're receiving the fruits of your labor. Oh, see what I did there? Fruits.
That's good.
All right.
That's good.
It's the little things in life, like the chickens laying the eggs.
It really is a good pun. Yeah, but like I was just talking with another friend about this recently when I was away at Presbytery, and just how easy it can be to get sucked in to someone else's nonsense and someone else's drama, and you feel the need to have to respond and actually like participate because they're coming to you. You can have
I know for me, like there have been times where like as an Army wife, like you get a new duty station and you want friends, right? I mean, like who doesn't want friends and stuff? And for a while here, we had a really hard time finding a solid church in the area that we're in now. We have one now that we're just so blessed to have, and we just love it.
CREC, shout out.
Yeah, I'm just saying. And so we, so there was at one point where I had made a friend here, and my impression was this woman
at one point you made a friend in your life.
Yeah, at one point I had a friend here, and she had said that she was a Christian, and
hey, this cat has her treat bag. Would you come pick it up because she's going to eat all of them?
I soon realized that maybe she's just it wasn't really all adding up. And I thought, well, maybe she's just a baby Christian. That's okay. Like, I'm just happy to have a friend. Sometimes like when you I know in like a place like this in the military, it happen a lot. And then you become friends with said person, and you think, oh, they're a baby Christian, and you want to help them grow. And so you're friends with them and you try to give them wise counsel, don't burden yourself with that. You don't have to go that way. And then it's hard to like let go. I don't know if other women have this problem, but it's hard to like let go of that friendship in the aspect of like, you don't want to just be like, yeah, this isn't like the person I really want to hang out with, because you've already invested some time. You're already trying to counsel them, and you don't want to seem like you're just like throwing a friendship away, right?
And there are seasons in life where friendships, I think once you have kids, it does get harder to find friends, or it generally is hard to find friends, because you kind of have a different lifestyle. So you find people who have kids, and sometimes it's hard to do, especially if you're young.
Well, I think sometimes you can either like, you can go one of two ways. Like you can find like your friends because your kids are friends, or like you're more picky because like these people are going to be the people that like influence your children if you're around them. So it makes it harder, because you're like, I don't want to just be the friend with the person who's like not the Christian, who lives this other lifestyle that I would just not agree with. Whereas maybe before you could have like ignored that to some extent and been like, I'm going to keep praying for them, trying to be like a good influence to them, keep inviting them to church, things of that nature, and like hope for, but then like once you have the littles, it's like, well, I don't really want to see my kids seeing this person like living this, other outlandish lifestyle that we wouldn't approve of. So now I've kind of got to protect my littles. Like that kind of sounds a little bit bad, but I think parents would understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you have to figure out. Yeah, there's parenting is just hard. Parenting and friendships can be hard, because then you also run people parent very differently from each other sometimes. And
some people take that very personal. Some people can take that very personal too. But yeah, my point was like there comes a point, I think, sometimes where like in this particular friendship where this had been going on for quite a while, and it wasn't, I realized it wasn't like a Christian friendship, and it was a lot of me trying to put a Christian influence there, but it was not happening, and it was a lot of house to house going, and I had to like separate. There came a point where I had to make the decision of like, this is not fruitful. I've really tried here, and we've had conversations, and now it's time. Like, I can't be part of your house to house going. I can't be a stop along that way anymore. And does that make sense to what I'm saying? And it was like trying to be the wise woman, and the conversations had already been had of like, hey, I can't be a part of this. This is not fruitful. This is not, where I can come. And so like those things have happened. But I think that
so the expectations were clear. You had set boundaries.
Yes, I had set boundaries. But I think sometimes for women, like it can be, you don't want to just let go of that, right? Like we don't want to just let go of a friendship. We don't want to seem as though we don't want to be loving as well. And
especially if you are lonely in life. If you are lonely and you have no other friends, and your husband works all the time or in military life, he's gone a lot. That's not fun.
And so I think there can be times where we just kind of like hang on there, and we just keep hoping when maybe it's time to let go. And I think it's a hard thing, and I think it's hard to kind of know sometimes when that is, and it's just where we have to be like super prayerful,
right?
And God, what do you want here, and how should you have me handle this? But yeah, so I was reading over that, and I was just like, this is hard, because like if you are on the other side of being the woman whose house maybe they're stopping at, and you don't want them to stop there, like don't stop here and share your gossip or complain about your husband and kids, and I'm setting up boundaries here, but you keep stopping, you keep like, this is not changing, like what do I do now?
Right. I mean,
where do I go from here?
Having the gift of a godly husband. If you don't know if you have a friend like this, ask him. He'll probably tell you.
Oh yeah, no,
Like,
yeah, yeah. My husband was like, it's time to let it go. You need to move on.
yeah,
And
it's too much.
I'm like, but I don't want to hurt her feelings.
Right.
I
And
don't
that's the
want to
beauty
be
of having a
ugly.
husband, right? Because he doesn't care about hurting her feelings. He'll just say, I don't want you hanging out with her anymore. She's bad news. And then you have to submit. So pretty easy. It's not, I mean, not easy in the sense of like emotionally, but like if you know you have to submit to him and he's told you to do it, well, then there's your answer.
Yeah.
So
otherwise you're disobeying him as well. And you know, it is a thing where like, you don't want to be the stop. You don't want to be helping them continue on in their sin either.
And if if your husband, maybe, because not every husband is in the same bracket spiritually, right? Like some maybe new believers or aren't believers at all, and maybe wouldn't be able to give wise counsel. And in those situations, I think it's really easy to just ask yourself, is this friendship causing me to actually bear good fruit or not? Has it encouraged me? Has it caused me to grow in my faith? Have I been challenged to become more godly?
Nora's getting her 10-year-old.
Ooh, Nora's getting her 10-year-old molars.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, is it doing all those things that we should at least claim to want? Do you know what I mean? And if it's not, if you find yourself on one of those lists more than the other, if the fruit bears more of the woman who goes house to house versus the woman who is characterized by her good works, then I think you could pretty well tell yourself like who's influencing who.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, y'all, back to chores.
It's true. And I mean, you know, you were an Army wife, so you know how that is, and you're a pastor's wife too, so I'm sure you see it in the churches too, of course.
No, the ladies in my church are awesome. They're perfect.
They're not sinful at all.
No.
Nobody's sinful there.
No, they're great.
No, I mean, I know, but I'm just saying, I wasn't making like, oh yeah, no, they're all sinful. I just meant like, we
you
are
hear that,
all
ladies? Sondra knows lots about you, and she's already got you pegged.
We are all sinful.
Come on, Dixie.
Oh goodness.
Come on. Let's go.
Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, no, good readings, you know.
Yeah, right.
Good thoughts for the day. I am so thankful. We actually just had from our CRC, we drive like an hour to church every Sunday. And that's with like no traffic. So, but you know, it's worth it to drive that far if you have a good church. Trust me, I know after searching for a church here, it's like, we just kind of came to the point where we were like, you know what, there's a lot of people that drive an hour to work every day. So surely we can drive an hour to church. You know, if you're willing to do it for work, why wouldn't you be willing to do it for church?
Oh yeah, she's growing and slowly becoming a little bit more obedient.
She's trying.
Okay, come this way, Dixie. Come on.
That's what happens when you're the new young family in the neighborhood. You get all the talk about the puppies and stuff.
That's right. Come on, Dixie, come. Let's go get your lunch. That's hilarious.
That was so sweet.
I have really good neighbors.
You do. You're very blessed.
Good neighbors, good ladies in the church. You know.
You got all the things over there. Why am I not in Maine with you?
Apparently I don't have good trees because
no, you don't have good trees. You've got a tree that loves you so much it wanted to lay on your front porch.
That's true.
Oh, anyway, so yeah, we just got another new military family who lives here. They just moved here, and they are making the hour-long drive as well because they're stationed here at Fort Campbell. So we're really excited to get to know them and have another CREC family.
Oh, that's great.
I know it's like such a blessing. Like we've prayed for this since we moved here. You know
so
how long and hard it's been.
You know, and there were seasons. We've even talked about this. There were seasons in our lives where it was like you could have no friends or you could have bad friends, and then you're just thankful for the no friends. No friends are better than bad friends.
It's so true.
And I think just being contented with that season is good. And then you just pray and you ask the Lord to bring you someone. That's fine too, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes there are just relationships that require you to be the person who is more godly, more spiritually mature.
There are definitely times where, where you
that sounds prideful, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Well, there are times where you are the one that's maybe a little further on the walk and you are there to spur someone else on and to encourage them and to disciple them. And there are times where you are the discipled, where someone's discipling you. And, I mean, God just made us that way. God just made us to spur. I mean, look at Paul and Timothy. I mean, Paul was, spurring on Timothy and encouraging him. And
come here.
It was, I'm sure a huge blessing to Timothy.
Right. And this is the thing to say, like the person that you're discipling, have they taken any of your counsel? Because if they haven't taken any of your counsel, then you're probably not discipling them so much as they just feel that they can come to you and whine and fuss, and you'll hear them out and give them, some attention for it. And that's really what they want versus someone who actually wants to be actively discipled by you. I just took her out. She's good. Yep. Thank you. She did get some water. If you want to fill out her little puzzle thing here for her, she can have some of that. So anyway, that's about what I have to say on that. There's nothing really that I feel like we said that's profound, but hopefully it's just encouraging, if nothing else.
Well, yes, I think basically don't be the busybody. Don't be the person listening to the busybody.
If you feel the need to be on social media so that you can know everyone else's business, you probably should just watch yourself.
You should probably just not be on it.
And it's one thing to like take interest in other people, and we should, but like if it's a thing where, I mean, most Christian women do not struggle with actively going house to house anymore. Like maybe some do, but most women.
But you do it in other ways.
Yes,
you do it in other ways. You do it on the phone. You do it, getting on Facebook. You do it,
whatever. There's different ways.
Whatever. Yeah. Like there's, you don't have to physically. And there's a difference between like I have a huge amount of my family lives in Washington State, so we keep up with each other through Facebook. It's really actually the only reason I even have a Facebook account these days. But so we will go on there and see each other's kids and stuff like that.
And even you and I.
Yeah. I mean, you. I mean,
we talk all the time on the phone.
Yes, but there's a difference, I think, between like going on Facebook and like seeing that, or like me and you calling up each other and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" We talk about our Bible study, whatever. There's a difference between that and like the person who goes on there to like see the gossip or air the gossip. Like we've seen that too, right? Like they actually make like is it like TikTok videos and stuff about, oh, did you see the neighborhood gossip? I've seen those and I'm like, oh my goodness. Or arguing on social media and stuff over silly things. But to like know that and then be able to be like, oh, da 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 da. I mean, we all know what gossip, in there, right? Like, I don't think it's a big secret what gossip looks like, or, you can't, don't cushion yourself to be like, oh, I'm not actually going on to see the drama in the neighborhood on their neighborhood Facebook page, or the drama going on in the family by looking at that. Don't say, well, I'm not really going house to house, because that is what it is. It's for getting excited to see any form of that drama and excited to, well, now I'm going to make this phone call and be like, hey, did you see blah, 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 blah. I mean, that's what you're doing. You're being the woman that's going house to house.
And it can also be the woman who just so desperately wants to be heard. So she puts her dirty laundry on Facebook, or maybe it's not even dirty laundry. Maybe it's all her clean laundry, right? Her highlights of her life, which is fine, obviously. You would always frown upon probably airing your dirty laundry, but there can be times when airing your clean laundry is totally right. Like, look at this new baby that I just had, or my husband was blessed with a promotion. This is such a blessing to us, or whatever. Like, there's totally appropriate ways to do that, but we all know the women who go on there to make a show of it because they have
no one else to go to, possibly, or
Because they just really need that affirmation. They crave affirmation. They crave acceptance. They crave
the attention.
Yeah. Right. Anyway,
which
just
isn't a healthy thing either.
No, it's just a form of pride. Actually, that's like what it is.
It's really just like looking at oneself too, and like
being a navel gazer.
Considering.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a good piece of advice my mom gave me. Like, just consider. Is this me? Is this why I'm doing this? Or or am I just saying, I'm proud of my daughter for learning to read. Here's a little clip of her reading her book.
It's just look how sweet she is.
There's a difference.
There is, and deep in your heart, you know what it is. You know what I mean? We all know what's in our heart. We all are keenly aware of when we are doing something that we know we shouldn't. If we have the Holy Spirit indwelling us, we should.
I don't ever do anything like that. No. I think that's a personal problem with you.
Probably.
We'll pray about it when we get done recording.
All right. Oh, speaking of praying about it right away, that was a little bit of advice I had given to my friend in case you're like, well, now I realize I had this problem with this friend in my life. What do I do? I was telling her one of the best things you can do, like if you're in a ministry position or in a group of people or whatever it is just go ahead. If someone comes up to you and starts saying, oh, Sondra, you will never believe what my husband did over the weekend. I'm just
this is when I'm like, oh no, what do I do? How do I get out of this?
Yeah, exactly.
And when you told me this piece of advice, I was like, why did I never think about that? That is so great.
So this is what you do. You grab their hand, right? Unless the person is, like really hates physical touch. But typically people who are like this don't hate physical touch. But I would go ahead and grab their hand because it kind of like shows them that you're being serious. And I would just be like, we're going to pray about that right now. And then just don't even give them time to talk. You just start praying. Lord, I just wanted to bring up, Susie and Bill to you right now. And I just ask that you would bless their marriage and protect them from the attacks of Satan and whatever it is, right? Like you just start praying. And then in the end, just be like, well, honey, that's the best I can do for you. And then walk away.
I was like, why did I not ever think it like what's funny is like, this is like such a biblical thing, right? Prayer. I mean, why did I never be like, oh, that's how I can get this so gracefully. And if you know me, you know that
you know me. You know either of us. We're both socially awkward folk.
We're extremely socially awkward. Which is like really sad because like sometimes like I do have to put on the face for my husband for work, and I always leave thinking, why did I say that, or why did I do that? I mean, Erica could tell you some stories.
Yeah, we won't. That'd be gossip.
We don't want to gossip. We'll just leave that out. But it's like, instead of me I know in my face says everything. So I know in those moments where I'm like, oh man,
what do I do?
I don't want to talk to you, and I don't want to hear your gossip, and I don't want to talk about how horrible your husband is anymore. Like, how do I get out of this? And instead, because I don't know what to do, I just freeze. I'm like, right.
And you end up getting lured in, and this is where I'm like, this is a great solution though, because it actually prevents you from being lured into the gossip. And if you're careful with your prayer, like you should be, you don't have to admit that anything that she's saying is even truthful. All you have to do is just say, Lord, bless your marriage. That's not you admitting that, like, I wouldn't say something like, you just prevent that horrible husband of hers from sinning against her anymore. Like, I wouldn't say anything like that, But
help him appreciate her cooking.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's my
it's
tip.
Good. It's good advice. I was just like, when you told me that, I was like, I'm going to start using that. Anytime so like if you meet me and I'm just like, let's pray, it's because I don't want to talk to you now.
She's done with you.
I'm done. I'm just, every time you open your mouth, like you're just like, hi, I'm like, let's pray about that right there. Lord, help him to say hello and walk away.
Don't pray passively aggressively, because you genuinely do love this person. It's genuine love. Honestly, we're joking.
You just don't want to,
But it's like, that is the best thing you can do for them. You don't want to get sucked into the drama and have their sin cause you to sin. And at the same time, it is the best thing. If there is problems, which we, what the problems are probably, and wouldn't be able to share them otherwise, You can just pray and the Lord knows. He knows what you're talking about when you pray.
Yep. And then they can't be like you didn't care either. They might not like that you didn't listen to every tidbit of their story and you didn't dwell on all the wrongs that were done to them.
Yep.
But they can't say that you didn't pray and care either.
Exactly. And then anyone else watching hopefully is encouraged. And maybe you'll just like show and teach everyone around you. This is how you deal with a person who is,
Well, and there is wisdom in
gossiper.
knowing when to shut down that kind of behavior too.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we shouldn't just be going around and talking bad about our husbands or our kids or our friends or whatever. None of that is healthy, loving Christian behavior.
No, exactly.
Not. And I mean, you can only say so many times, hey, let's not do that before you just gotta shut it down.
And sometimes, like, maybe these people don't even know if there's a problem. They should go to the Lord. That's my dog. She's telling me it's time to hush up now. I'm mopping and she doesn't like it when I mop. Or she does like it. She just wants to play.
My dog is Arthur, and he doesn't like it when we vacuum. He is scared to death of the vacuum. And I'm pretty sure
funny.
because my middle child may have chased him with the vacuum once or twice. And if you know my middle child, you could totally see him doing this. And whereas like I probably would have laughed the first time, I would have also been like, don't do that.
We love cleanliness in this house.
I know, like when he, especially when his name's Lucas. When Lucas vacuums, Arthur gets he gets double upset, and I'm like, have you chased him with a vacuum? He's like, no, ma'am, I wouldn't do that. And I'm like, but you would. I mean, I'm going to take you because I don't have a witness, but now I have cameras in my living room, so I'm like, dude, if you do it,
game changer.
We gonna catch you.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Right.
All right, we should wrap this thing up.
With the vacuum, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Lucas is coming with the vacuums. We need to wrap this thing up. All right, I don't really know what our outro is going to be. This is our first one, so should just be like, okay, bye.
Love your kids, love your wife. Who says that? And baptize your babies. That's what it is.
I hope our listeners don't have wives. You mean husbands?
Yes.
We're done. Bye.
Bye. It was hide your kids, hide your wife. I tried.
The end.
The end.